though snakes are deadly predators, they do have enemies that can kill them. Have you ever seen a crazy kung fu rabbit teach a snake a lesson? How well do you think a mongoose would against a snake? Join us as we look at 15 times snakes messed with the wrong animal. 15 raccoon dog raccoon versus snake raccoon dogs, like domestic dogs, are members of the canine family, although they are far more closely related to foxes. The Chinese or Asian raccoon dog is another name for the common raccoon dog. Although they are remarkably similar, the Japanese raccoon dog, known as tanuki, is thought to be a subspecies. Tiger keelback snakes have a venom gland at the back of their neck, and the young raccoon dogs in this video attack the snake without knowing this. The snake's venom is painful, but the snake uses another tactic when threatened, and it is to pretend that he's dead. This snake eats toads and accumulates venom this way. It's not deadly to the dog raccoons, though. It just hurts, so they still get to eat their lunch. A raccoon can be seen munching on a snake in this video. The snake is already chopped up in bits and pieces, so it's just a matter of swallowing the snake one bite at a time for the raccoon. A raccoon spots a snake on a dirt road and doesn't hesitate to attack it. The raccoon easily snatches the snake and takes it back into the forest to eat it. Raccoons are extremely intelligent animals. They can hunt and kill animals much larger than themselves, and they can also attack and kill dangerous and venomous snakes. A raccoon finds a snake on the road and begins to bite it, under the watchful eyes of a friend approaching. His friend joins him, but the other raccoon doesn't want to share the snake with him, so he picks up the dead snake and walks away. 14 dog versus snake. Jack Russells were bred to kill small animals. You can see it in this little doggie's heart. Their small body and strong paws are built to go through small holes and hunt for these little creatures. This is Sonic, a Jack Russell owned by the individual filming. This recording was random as it happened unexpectedly. He was 3 years of age when it happened, and he fearlessly defeated the snake. These two dogs are fighting over a snake as one of the dogs pulls it out of the grass, and the other dog pulls it back in. The snake is still alive, and still has the strength to lunge at the dogs, but the dogs mangle the reptile badly. I must say, this is one tough snake. This snake is a little more aggressive as it lunges at this Rottweiler to try and strike it, but the dog seems to be having a blast, bouncing all around, avoiding the snake's attacks, until it can bite the snake and mangle it enough to, well, I think, kill it. 13 cat versus snake. Any snake can be killed by a cat. They are a tough opponent for snakes since they are swift, nimble, and intelligent. Snakes that are venomous are included because they can avoid toxins from being deposited by a quick bite. A snake bites the dust in this video. Your adorable cat is a predator, a superb hunter, and a murderer. That is a cat's true life purpose. If your pet encounters a snake, it will develop predatory impulses. Cats will circle their prey to prevent it from fleeing while striking its hide with their keen feline claws. This cat finds a snake amusing and plays around with it for a while, but I don't think the snake is playing. He just wants to get out of there as he curls up to protect himself. When a huge cobra approaches, this cat looks terrified. What person wouldn't be? The cat, like the snake, tries to strike, but misses. Surprisingly, the cat goes for the cobra's head and crushes it, grabbing the snake and running off with it. This kitten takes a shot at a snake when it tries to strike it several times with its paws, but the snake stands his ground and defends itself. Even as a young kitten, the cat's natural instinct is to hunt whatever animal it meets. 12 chicken versus snake. While adult chickens are more likely to kill a snake than the other way around, larger snakes can consume chicken eggs and small chicks. This threat necessitates the installation of snake proofing in chicken coops. When a snake crashes into a hen's den to eat her chicks, the hen fights back and defends her youngsters. The snake is vicious and strikes several times, but every time, the hen manages to avoid being struck and returns to defend her chicks. From what I can tell, none of the chicks are killed by the snake. Look at how this hen protects her chicks from a hungry cobra. The hen steers her chicks away from the dangerous reptile while fending off the snake. It remains between the snake and the chicks to prevent the snake from approaching them. The snake slithers away, having realized that this mama is not to be trifled with. The rooster in this video has a field day after it spots a tiny snake on the ground. The rooster steps on the snake repeatedly before biting and killing it. The rooster's bobbing movements appear to be well suited for this type of conflict, making it more difficult for the snake to strike. 11 monitor lizard versus snake. It's rare to see two reptiles fighting. An African monitor lizard got the better of an African rock python in Namibia, near the Kootenay River. From the get-go, the lizard was in control of the fight the entire time. In this wild encounter, a black cobra battles it out with a monitor lizard. The lizard latches onto the cobra's tail and bites it, but it doesn't prevent the cobra from striking the lizard. However, when the lizard bites the cobra in the midsection, the snake seems to weaken. Perhaps he's waiting for the venom to take effect, but if the lizard is immune, it could turn out to be a long day for the snake. The scent of hatching crocodile eggs draws a venomous cobra from its lair. When the cobra arrives at the nest, it discovers another predator has already arrived. A monitor lizard defends himself and will not give the cobra an inch without a fight. He tells the snake it's finders keepers, and despite the fact the snake is venomous, it doesn't bother the reptile. They both assess each other's strengths and try to intimidate the other by growing larger. The monitor lizard retreats as the cobra prepares to strike, but not before firing a parting shot at the cobra with its tail. The cobra has the entire egg dinner to itself, except the shells are empty. This time, the monitor lizard has the last laugh. The battle was over before it began. 10 turtle eats snake. In our thumbnail, we can see a snake sticking his head inside a turtle's shell. Is he interested in buying the shell and just wants to visit? Or was he invited for dinner and ended up eating his host? While inspecting a stream restoration project, a construction manager witnessed an unusual wildlife encounter. Even as the box turtle attempted to hide its eggs, an eastern king snake was snatching them. Food is always the greatest motivator when it comes to animals. This snapping turtle strikes this sea snake with a few mean bites, and although the sea snake is still alive, the turtle isn't done yet. At one point, the snake seems to be free of the turtle's grasp, but the turtle strikes again, and this time, it's for good. The snake's body is cut open, and the snake isn't doing much about it. A turtle in an aquarium is fed a snake in this video, and it doesn't waste 1 second to bite off part of the snake to eat it, while the other part can be seen wiggling in the water until the turtle eventually gets to it. 9 mongoose versus snake mongooses have mutated cells that block most snakes' neurotoxins from entering their bloodstream. This makes them capable of surviving the venomous snake's deadly bite, so it can attack and crush the snake's head. When a mongoose encounters a large and aggressive cobra on a small dirt road, the mongoose jumps at the snake a few times to attack it, but the snake manages to avoid being struck. The cobra is graceful in his movements and quite aggressive, but I don't think it will be enough to escape the wrath of the aggressive mongoose. Another mongoose meets a snake on a dirt road, but this time, it looks like the snake is able to discourage the mongoose, which can be seen going back into the forest, but only for a few seconds, that is, until the mongoose comes back out of the forest and continuously attacks the cobra's head, until the cobra retreats into the forest, exactly where the mongoose wants the snake. Watch how a mongoose delivers the final death blow to this cobra, when he lunges at the snake's head and crushes it with one bite. These animals are lethal killers, and the snakes know it, so when they meet, I'm sure the snakes would prefer escaping, but the mongooses won't let them. After a lone female squirrel approaches a cobra from behind, a snake bite causes her to retreat from battle. But soon, a yellow mongoose steps up and tries to finish the battle with his highly venomous cobra. Mongooses and snakes are each other's deadliest opponents. When they face off, the outcome is utterly unpredictable. 8 rabbit versus snake. Even though rabbits usually end up being the next meal of most animals, certain rabbits are amazing snake killers. And here is a rabbit taking a snake for a ride on a dirt road. The snake tries to slither into the bush, but the rabbit keeps launching attacks at the snake until the snake finally manages to escape. This rabbit puts on a show to remember when the snake makes him do all kinds of hops and somersaults. The rabbit isn't afraid of the snake and chases it until the reptile can't take it any longer and tries to escape. When this bunny pounces on this snake and gives it a lesson or two after the snake tries to eat some of its young, it isn't fooling around. The snake attempts to flee, but the rabbit follows him. The rabbit performed a few strong kick combos and a backward flip to spice things up. 7 honey badger versus snake. This is how a honey badger deals with a Cape cobra. It pursues it, kills it, and consumes it. Isn't that simple to understand? Honey badgers are fearless, and they will fight any animal that challenges them, including lions. During this night hunt, a honey badger comes across a puff adder, and it doesn't take long for the badger to kill and eat the snake. But wait, the adder had time to bite the badger, so when the venom kicks in, it knocks the badger out. Not a problem. All that means is the honey badger will wake up to breakfast in bed. 6 Cobra versus Puff Adder. In this video, there are 2 deadly snakes, but only one can be declared the winner. I believe this pair to be a Puff Adder and a Cape Cobra that go head-to-head on the main trail up a mountain in Cape Town, South Africa. One bite from either of these, or whichever of the 2 is on the receiving end, is in a world of pain. In this video, a black-necked spitting cobra encounters a Puff Adder as both snakes get into a staring contest, with neither of the 2 reptiles trying to strike the other. The man filming this video was bow hunting in South Africa when he came across these 2 snakes going at it. He was walking with his cousin in a dry riverbed when they ran into this once-in-a-lifetime sight. They stayed for about 5 minutes after the Cape Cobra bit the Puff Adder. 5 turkey versus snake turkeys are amazing to keep in your backyard if you have snake problems. These birds will clean out the yard and get rid of the snakes in no time. This female got more than she bargained for when she found a gopher snake. Even funnier is the puffed-up male turkey, who is unconcerned about the snake or the female's position. An Australian brush turkey was filmed protecting its nesting mound from a diamond python, comfortably sending the snake running. Pythons are not small snakes, so I was surprised to see this sort of outcome. A turkey and some of his friends found a snake in an open field and didn't let the opportunity for a quick meal pass it by, as the bird stabbed the reptile to death. 4 secretary bird versus snake. Secretary birds are huge birds that can reach heights of 4 feet and weigh up to 9 pounds. Their necks are long, and their wings are long and pointed. Secretary birds have a raptorial beak that is powerful and hooked, as well as a large crest on the back of their heads. Their muscular feet have sharp, curved claws, and their legs are exceedingly lengthy. To protect themselves from snake bites, they have robust scales on their legs. Secretary birds' toes are thick and blunt, with short, curled talons on the tips, rather than having grasping toes like other birds of prey. Secretary birds stamp on and kill their prey with a force 5 times their body weight. Because secretary birds hunt venomous snakes, a missed hit might be fatal, so the birds must be able to perform fast, strong, and accurate foot strikes to shock and kill their prey. The secretary bird in this video has already killed a snake and is slowly ripping it apart so it can slurp it into its mouth as if it were eating spaghetti. The snake is slippery and not easy to handle, so it takes the bird a little longer than expected to eat it. This secretary bird notices a magnificent cobra and approaches it, pondering what tactics it will employ to dispatch the reptile. The plan is straightforward. Stomp it to death until the snake is nice and delicate and ready to eat. The secretary bird is a huge raptor that looks like a cross between a hawk and an eagle. They are well known for their ability to kill snakes in the African grasslands. Snakes and other dangerous prey are stunned and then killed by pecking behind the neck. Another secretary bird is thrashing a snake. If you live in an area with a lot of snakes, this is a fantastic bird to have as a pet, unless it also attacks you. 3 meerkats versus snake. These 5-week-old meerkat pups have a long way to go in terms of desert survival. The ground is scorched, and the nearest river hasn't flown in years. The most difficult task is finding food, because most of it is hidden beneath the sun-baked earth. It's safe to start the pup's education with adults on guard duty, looking for danger and ready to sound the alarm. For starters, digging is more difficult than it appears. An adult can excavate its own weight every few seconds, but a pup will beg and ask the adults to do the heavy lifting. However, not all the freebies are appropriate for a simple supper. When an adult scorpion is discovered, its stinger has been destroyed, but its pincers remain fully functional. Learning how to deal with dangerous creatures is an important African desert skill. It's time for a break, and the meerkats desperately need some shade, but the lessons aren't done yet. A young meerkat is confronted by a Cape Cobra. He's in serious trouble on his own, but when his family receives the call, they rush to the scene. This will be one of the most important lessons he will ever learn: how to handle a venomous cobra. If the snake does not leave their territory, the entire family will be in danger. The pups have discovered a way to survive in this hostile environment. All they need to do now is collaborate. When a meerkat is looking for food with its head buried under the sand, a sly cobra slithers closer, hoping to catch its next meal. Thankfully, a large meerkat mob is nearby to scare the predator away and save their friend. With their speed, lethal sharp teeth, and united front, it becomes clear that there's power in numbers when living in the wild. Meerkats take on a dangerous puff adder that encroaches on their territory. Does the mob rule, or does the snake eat tonight? It seems like the meerkats own the snake, as the puff adder can be seen retreating at the end of the video. 2. Praying mantis versus snake. Did you ever wonder how a praying mantis would match up against a snake? Well, surprise. You probably thought the snake was going to gobble up the small insect in seconds. But instead, the mantis can be seen munching on the snake's midsection until the snake rallies and coils itself around the insect, suffocating it. It looks like it's a draw, but I could be wrong, because the snake is still alive, and it doesn't look like the mantis is. The praying mantis in this video looks like the Karate Kid, the way it's standing when it tries to intimidate the snake. The snake begins to slither, as if it's dancing, as both creatures try to get the edge on their opponent. Watch this snake try to attack this mantis and see what happens. The mantis waits for the right moment and then grabs onto the snake before biting into the flesh. The snake is unable to move as it is clutched by the mantis's raptorial legs, and the mantis keeps on biting. It is basically eating the snake alive. 1 crocodile alligator versus snake. The king cobra is a venomous snake species of elapids endemic to jungles in southern and Southeast Asia. The sole member of the genus Ophiophagus, it is distinguishable from other cobras, most noticeably by its size and neck pattern.